Here's your news for June 21st, 2020. And your headlines for today include WWE's plan for unique Braun Strowman vs. Bray Wyatt Extreme Rules match. Bray Wyatt teases return of Wyatt family. Who could be the new Wyatt family member? Roman Reigns discloses some important facts concerning WrestleMania 33. Undertaker's Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Who is Chris Jericho confronting next revealed? Released WWE superstar breaks his silence. Interesting news about AEW's video game, a new Owen Hart documentary, and more. We're kicking off today with news from SmackDown as Bray Wyatt brought back his old self on this week's show. But what does that mean for the Eater of Worlds? According to a report by Ringside News, fans can expect Wyatt and Universal Champion Braun Strowman to face off again in a highly cinematic match that'll take place at Extreme Rules. Their report went on to say that this cinematic match, which will follow in the heels of the Firefly Funhouse match from WrestleMania, will have plenty of shocking moments, though their source added that things will happen just so things happen. We're not quite sure what sorts of things will happen in this latest cinematic venture by WWE, but given how popular Wyatt has been in the years since his re-debut with The Fiend, it's likely fans will still be excited to see these two superstars collide again. Although Bray Wyatt's Eater of Worlds persona returned during Friday Night SmackDown this week, what's to come after that big surprise? He might just get the band back together. The Wyatt family will be very difficult to completely reconstruct right now. Brody Lee / Luke Harper is now under contract with AEW. Eric Rowan isn't out of the question, but his non-compete clause is reportedly up on July 15th, which is prior to the July 19th Extreme Rules event. Bray Wyatt tweeted out a photo of himself, Eric Rowan, and Braun Strowman from the Wyatt family days. Luke Harper was either out injured during that time, or he was holding the camera. "Daddy's back," Wyatt tweeted out with the hashtags #LetTheSinBegin. He also included #DownWithTheMachine. This is an interesting development. Ringside News exclusively reported that Bray Wyatt vs. Braun Strowman is set to be a cinematic match at Extreme Rules with lots of surprises. Getting the Wyatt family back together would certainly be a surprise. One man who hasn't been seen lately, albeit for a different reason, is Roman Reigns, and whilst the big dog has had plenty of career highs over the years, he's not pleased with all of them. While speaking to ESPN, the big dog explained how pleased he was when he found out he'd be facing The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33, until he found out that he'd be beating the Demon of Death Valley. He said, "I remember the first thing I thought was that I wanted to put him over. I wanted to lose. Immediately, that was my instinct, out of respect." Speaking about how he knew the Phenom was hurt going into the match, Reigns said that the story would have been better if the veteran had defeated the younger superstar. But Vince McMahon clearly didn't see things that way. Despite Roman's views, and the fans as well, Reigns gave the Phenom only his second ever loss at WrestleMania, though when it comes to records, being 25-2 at the grandest stage of them all isn't bad at all. We have some AEW news now as a confrontation between Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho has been announced for Wednesday's Dynamite. The company announced the addition to Wednesday's show in a tweet. The two are scheduled to wrestle at Fyter Fest, which will be a 2-week event starting on July 1st and continuing on July 8th. The two have been feuding for the last several weeks. Jericho assaulted Orange Cassidy with a baseball bat 2 weeks ago, busting him open. Cassidy retaliated by dressing as a cameraman on last week's show. After Jericho and tag partner Sammy Guevara lost to Best Friends, Cassidy came into the ring and attacked Jericho, sending him out of the ring with a Superman punch. Already announced for next week is Mr. Brody Lee and Colt Cabana vs. Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela, Wardlow vs. Luchasaurus in a lumberjack match, FTR vs. The Natural Nightmares, and Sammy Guevara vs. Matt Hardy. AEW World Champion Jon Moxley will also be in action. Wade Barrett isn't wrestling anymore, but he's still getting into plenty of action. Now going as his real name, Stu Bennett, he has a rather impressive career as an action movie star going. Bennett revealed a screenshot from his new film Vengeance. In this photo, he is pulling off a Superman punch. The former Bad News Barrett posted the screenshot with a nod to the big dog. We'll have to see what's next for Stu Bennett as he turned down WWE's offer to take part in a Nexus reunion and then stated that his in-ring career might not be 100% done. The former WWE superstar also shared his opinion about the current WWE champion. Wade Barrett jokingly said on Twitter that he was furious about the fact that Drew McIntyre is the first ever British WWE champion, as he believes that it should have been him. Earlier, the former Nexus leader revealed that he was happy with Drew McIntyre being the first Brit to hold the premier title of WWE, but later jokingly backtracked on his claim. Let's see where this story leads us to. Looking at former WWE referee Mike Chioda, who sat down with Chris Jericho to speak about his career and departure from the company. Speaking about his release, Chioda admitted that it took him entirely by surprise, but not just because he'd been with WWE for over 30 years, but also because he'd been rehabbing from a torn rotator cuff and a torn bicep following surgery in October. He said, "I healed up and was ready for WrestleMania. I signed a new contract in the middle of March. I got a bump in pay. I got a phone call and a text on April 15th. There was no reason." April 15th is the date that Chioda and many more WWE personalities were let go from the company, and he went on to say that when he asked if this was Vince or Stephanie's doing, the company said it wasn't. Chioda also spoke about how over the decades he had a quote awesome relationship with Vince and doesn't even know if it was because he had heat backstage. Whatever the reason, it looks like Chioda won't be back with WWE anytime soon. But after 30 years in the industry, we're sure there's plenty of companies who'd love to work with the veteran official. Now, we all know that Owen Hart is one of the most beloved wrestling personalities ever, who was tragically taken far too soon, but now The Rocket is getting his own documentary next year. According to Screen Daily, UK-based sales agency Kaleidoscope Film Distribution will handle sales of the film, which is set to release in the first quarter of 2021. Joe Lewis will be directing, while Owen's widow, Dr. Martha Hart, will be serving as an executive producer, alongside Kaleidoscope CEO Spencer Pollard and Lee Brazier. Getting footage for the documentary may be tough though, as it's unknown whether any footage from Owen's time in WWE will be used, and Vince McMahon also owns the footage for Stampede Wrestling as well. What we do know is that the doc will include archived family footage, and that Bret Hart will be just one big name to speak in an interview about his brother, along with other contributors from the world of wrestling, including current WWE superstar Natalya. This isn't the only Owen documentary around, of course, as Dark Side of the Ring produced an hour-long special for the series finale in May, and since that gave the show its best viewership ever, we've got high hopes for this 2021 documentary. From one legend of the ring to another now, as The Undertaker is regarded by many as the greatest ever, but who does he consider to be the greatest of all time? Speaking in an interview with comicbook.com, the dead man gave his list as Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Andre the Giant. There were plenty of runners-up for that fourth coveted spot, as the Phenom mentioned Harley Race, Dusty Rhodes, and Bruno Sammartino before settling on the eighth wonder of the world. One name that the Demon of Death Valley didn't include on his list was Sting, as fans for years have hoped to see a match between the two icons. When asked why the match hasn't happened, the dead man said to never say never regarding the booking, and whilst he admitted that it'd be a huge marquee match, he thinks fans aren't looking at whether the pair could deliver the match fans are hoping to see. He said, "That's a great match, but 10 years ago I think it could still happen and it could still be a stellar match. But I'm just not sure at this point that it could deliver on the hype." With Sting no longer under contract, it seems the match is getting less likely with each year. And given that The Undertaker is worried about the two, who have a combined age of 116, it seems that this dream match will remain a dream. We are looking at one of Undertaker's Mount Rushmore next, as Stone Cold Steve Austin will be bringing another episode of the Broken Skull Sessions to the WWE Network. According to a report by WWE Network News, the Texas Rattlesnake will soon be sitting down with Mark Henry to discuss his lengthy career in the ring. Joining the wrestling scene with no prior experience, Henry went from being a green behemoth to one of the most impressive big men WWE has ever seen. And with prior guests including The Undertaker, Kane, Big Show, Bret Hart, Goldberg, and Ric Flair, the world's strongest man is in some pretty incredible company. We're ending today with news from referee Aubrey Edwards, who has confirmed that she is working on the company's very first video game. Speaking on the Talk is Jericho podcast, Edwards confirmed that an AEW game is in the works and that she's been appointed the project coordinator. The title isn't without merit, as before entering the world of wrestling, she worked for a decade in the gaming industry for companies like Xbox and Nintendo. Speaking about working alongside fellow gaming fanatic Kenny Omega, Edwards spoke about what the two have in mind for the game. She said, "It really comes down to what people want. Like, creative characters are really important because people like having that creativity aspect, or if there's a character that's not in the game, people want to create it." There's currently no release date or any images from the upcoming AEW game, but the fact that plans are officially in motion is still a big win for the company as they continue to grow their brand.